Hi everyone, I'm Naïma. Welcome back to my channel. This video is about the 5 things I wish I knew when I first got long COVID. I'm sending this to my past self, the person who woke up one morning in October 2020 and just knew that something within my body had shifted. I just didn't know what. It was the scariest time of my life, and it's even difficult now to think back to that person who was terrified and didn't know what to do and what was ahead. I feared that this might be long term, but at the same time, I hoped that I might wake up and this would have all been a small blip and I could just move on with my life and pretend it never happened. These are the 5 things I wish I could tell myself back then. Number 1. Your pain is real, even if no one can see it. Prior to getting COVID, I saw being ill in such a one-dimensional way. You get ill, go to the doctor, they find what's wrong with you, give you a treatment, and hopefully you're on your way. This is simply not what happens with chronic conditions. It took 9 months for me to even do a test that revealed any abnormalities or showed what might be causing my symptoms. During this time, my symptoms were called into question as I went to A&E several times trying to find answers and work out what was going on. On good days, I wondered if I had made this entire thing up. I would then try to resume living a normal life, and I would be lurched right back into bed, unable to do much of anything. I didn't yet understand that this was a new illness and it would take a while for anyone to understand what was wrong. That if I had any hope of a recovery, I needed to be kinder to myself. Number 2, the quicker you try to accept this, the more at peace you will feel and the easier this becomes. I used to see acceptance as meaning that I was happy with where I was and what had happened, but it simply means acknowledging that this is where I am now and I have to live differently to how I might want to. It doesn't mean that this will be forever. I can still take steps towards recovery. It doesn't mean I just don't do anything to try to get better, but it means I meet my body where it is right now. Number 3, on a similar note, learning to manage your symptoms does not mean that you've given up, but that you're meeting your body where you are right now. Each time I met with doctors in those early months, they'd say the same thing. You need to learn to manage your symptoms. It took about a year for this to sink in. In those early months, I spent so long fighting with myself, thinking that if I carried on at my previously normal pace, my body would just adjust. That's how it works, right? All that led to were crashes, flare-ups, and tears. It was miserable. I didn't want to accept that this could be long-term, but I eventually realized that the alternative was much worse. These intense highs and lows where when I felt good, I would try to fit as much as I could into my days, only to end up worsening my symptoms down the road. Number 4, finding community will help you feel less alone and motivate you to keep going. Back in March 2020, when I first got COVID, there were no support groups and no real route to a diagnosis. We weren't even using the term long COVID yet. It really felt like there was no one else. Being able to name what I had and finally get diagnosed in January 2021 meant that I could finally find people who had the same experience I had. I first joined the Body Politics support group, and they've been incredible in finding answers and being part of a welcoming community that is supportive. Then setting up this YouTube channel as well and making friends with others who are in a similar position has been such a huge help. It has helped me to keep going. Number 5, and this is a tough one. There is no miracle cure. For the first few months of my illness, I spent my entire days searching for a cure, panicking, looking everywhere online, using all of my energy and resources to try to find something that might cure me. I was convinced that there was a pill I could swallow, a protocol I could follow that would help me get out of this. And it's not to say that there aren't tests that need to be done in order to work out what is going on, but there's no one cure for many of us that will make all of our symptoms disappear overnight. That's what I was looking for so long. And I would try these different regimens and be so disappointed when they didn't get me back to 100%. Some helped 10%, 5%, 20%, but it was never enough. Maybe one day, but now I prefer, instead of looking for a cure, I'm looking for a set of approaches and tools that can help alleviate my symptoms and allow me to improve with time. What are some of the things that you wish you could tell yourself when you first got ill? What do you wish that you knew then that you know now? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in my next video.